Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. We have an update on Gold Terra with CEO David Suda and Executive Chairman Gerald Pennington. So before we get started, as always, this presentation will contain forward-looking statements. If you'd like to know more about those, you can find them on the company's disclosure on their website. This presentation will actually consist of a lot of Q&A. If you're unfamiliar with Gold Terra, feel free to participate, but I would encourage you to watch one of the previous webinars we've done on the Adelaide Capital YouTube channel. I think there's 3 from last year. This one is really going to focus in on what the company's planning for 2021. And with that introduction, I'd like to introduce Dave Suda, CEO, who's going to give you a little bit of an overview of the company and what they're up to. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Deb. Thanks very much for hosting us on such short notice. We actually extended a request to Adelaide Capital and Deborah to host us in the instance that the market backdrop has been pretty challenging for investors across all sectors. Volatility has reigned. We've seen short squeezes in Reddit and commodities bouncing all over the place. And we didn't escape volatility in our share price. We had a big volume day with a big drop on Monday and a lot of investor questions. We were absolutely thrilled to see that our efforts in marketing and bringing eyes to the story met the selling shares with buying. Almost 7 million shares traded on Monday. We bounced back from the bottom. And what we want to do here is we want to outline why we think situations like this are a great opportunity, to also take the opportunity to clarify, what lies ahead, what the catalysts are, what our financial position is. And I think I'll hand it over to Gerald. Gerald has been overseeing the technical team. He's been driving the vision behind what is our current and most exciting target. We just started drilling there, so the timing couldn't be better for everybody watching. And I'm going to hand it over to you, Gerald.
Thank you, everyone who has decided to come to this presentation of Gold Terra. For you, or for some of those that I may have met before, I think that you've been in the story of Gold Terra or Terra X Minerals for many years. And, I understand very well that sometimes you could be frustrated not to see the result coming into pictures. But when you think about the value of the previous management, what they brought, the property size, the location, we're just finishing the touch basically by doing the deal with Newmont. And we're just about to turn the corner to start drilling one of the most exciting targets that there is in the Yellowknife area, or in the Yellowknife project, the city project. We're in town. It's not a question as are we out of town or anything else. No, we're in town. So it's you're very knowledgeable about the project. But I think what was probably not a miss, but something that was not necessarily a better focus was the Campbell shear structure. Everybody that understands gold mining, and I can talk about it because I've been involved for 40 years in that. I've got 3 gold mines in my background. And I can tell you that if there is a chance of finding a nice big gold mine that is 2, 3, or 5 million ounces, we need to do it on the Campbell shear. I mean, yes, the drilling on Castaram and Samoto last year was the step forward. We had a resource. We're going to grow that resource. It's going to be probably a good addition. But what we need is a main high-grade deposit, which has leg, which has depth, continuity, which could be 2 or 3 million ounces by itself. And I think the Campbell shear, which has already delivered 13 million ounces between the Giant and the Con mine, is the most important target of our project. We need to focus there. And unfortunately, it took us 9 months to negotiate with Newmont a deal to do so. On the slide that you probably see on your screen, you can see the important thing of Gold Terra, the rationale for that. And what's very important is all of these elements are important. But not only that, we are about to start drilling, which we did 2 weeks ago, the most important target. And this is where I think we will start generating much better and quicker value for the company. I know for those who have been probably in the story for 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years, it may sound difficult to, again, asking you for some patience, especially with the market since August has gone away from the gold. The gold is not the flavor of the day anymore, and it's more difficult in such of a market. But it doesn't change anything if you believe in gold, if you believe in safety in Canada, focus onto the Yellowknife City project that Gold Terra is working on. Now, on the next couple of slides, we're going to look at the situation, the property, 800 square kilometers, the light blue corner that is just immediately south of the Con Mine. And basically what I'd like to go and move on and not take too much of your time at the end of the day is to go straight onto what does it mean? What is the Campbell share? Why is Joel so excited about that? Well, I'm excited about the Campbell share as much as I was excited when I founded Detour Gold and purchased the Detour Lake mine, which we know became a 16 million ounces reserve operation that I took from IPO to the first gold bar in 6 years. So if you're questioning any ability of the management to deliver, this is not going to be the case here. And I think you have a chance. I mean, there's other good gold story in Canada. I'm not saying we have the best one, but I'm certainly sure that we have one of the 10 best ones in Canada because we're in town and because we're looking at high-grade mineralization. It is very important to understand that. The Campbell share is a 5 million ounces deposit. And when you look at the strike length, it's not even 2 kilometers in strike length, along a shear zone which is 70 kilometers in strike length. The package goes from 50 to 100 meters in width. And I can tell you, we put the core on the website this morning through a press release to show that we intersected in the first hole, the Campbell share, from basically 80 meters width. And so we know it's there. We know we're already in the right spot to drill the Campbell share. What we need to drill is extend more of the drilling along the 2 kilometers of the Newmont line. And to show you that, we're going to go on the next slide, which shows the long section, just to show you what the footprint is of a 5 million ounces deposit. And what's also very important within that slide, which is showing a deposit which is 2 kilometers strike length, 1 kilometers, 1.5 kilometers in vertical extension, cut off by a fault, which basically now extend probably further south. The deposit is plunging to the south, but at the same time, it's also having some vertical to subvertical rake to the south that shows the high granulation of, say, 20 grams over 5 meters. So we know we're in the right spot. And we know that our first hole, basically, is also in the right spot where we drill. We released that this morning. We show you exactly where the two first hole was, and we intersected the Campbell shear as planned over a width of 70 meters with some nice mineralization, and hopefully the gold grade will show up as it is. Not only that, the Newmont option gives us a very good opportunity to be very close to the mine, to understand the Campbell shear close to the mine, to expand the mineralization further south. And at the same time, we also have another 15 to 20 kilometers to the south, which we intend to start drilling either during the summer or in the fall or next winter. And of course, the Campbell shear will take a couple of years to drill. It's not going to happen overnight. We have a panel of mineralization that goes from more than 15 kilometers south of the mine. Plus, we also have the North Belt. So there will be a lot of drilling done over the next 10 to 15 years. And if you think that we're not doing the right thing, I'd like to hear your suggestion. But I can tell you, if there's one place to find 5 million ounces, it will be exactly where we are going, the Campbell shear and its potential. And on the next, I think you saw the slide on the press release this morning showing the core and the location of the first two holes. We started to the north. We're going to drill approximately 6 holes down at 400 meters elevation. These 6 holes will tell us exactly where to go next, which we intend to go at 500 or 600 meters elevation down plunge. It's pointless to go at 2,000 meters right away. There is mineralization near surface. We have 2 small resources. We can expand those resources and drill down. And I think, not sure if there's another slide that we can talk about further down. No, we can go back on this. And as a parenthesis, for those who've been waiting for an upgrade resources, we released this morning that you should expect a resource update in Q1 2021 on the Crestarum and the Samoto drilling we did last year, which is approximately 18,000 meters. So if you have any question on that, I'll be delighted to answer them. And if I can just go on and just talk about what is next, I can open for question and answer if you're interested in some questions.
Okay, great. So more of a comment than a question. I walked the South property in 1969 and saw gold on surface. Bought Gold Terra about 3 years ago when the land was consolidated. Good luck with the drilling. There you go. That's nice. Interesting. And then I have some questions that were sent in advance. If anyone would like, just feel free to type the questions in the Q&A box at the bottom. So one question I had is, when will the results of the drill program of the winter drill program be available?
Usually when we finish the first hole, which was completed about a week ago, you can account for approximately 4 to 6 weeks to get the result in. It takes about a week to log, replace the core, saw cut it, ship it to Vancouver. And so usually it's a delay of approximately 4 to 6 weeks. Used to be 4 weeks, but now with the current pandemic, the lack of flight between Vancouver and Yellowknife, for example, slowing down the process. We finished the first hole the last week of January, so end of February, first week of March, you should get some result on the Campbell Shear.
Okay, and if those results are weak, will you continue drilling?
Well, we have currently raised enough money in July last year to do 10,000 meters of drilling this winter, which will take us our current cash position down to, stop drilling. So we should expect basically to have enough money to drill the 10,000 meters and then pause for the spring breakup from the winter, and then assess all the drilling and carry on drilling again during the summer and of course during the fall, subject to future financing.
Okay.
What David is showing on the slide, for those who'd like to see, is very simple. It's I always, when we did the compilation of the Campbell Shear, we felt that many of the holes were always too short. So we intersected a footwall zone at 625 meters down the first hole. And we wanted to show the core, which is quartz veining, anchoritization, brecciation, and pyrite mineralization over approximately 16 meters. A nice zone that we believe could also yield some good result, but this is what exploration is about. I always felt that most of the drilling done by Cominco and Miramar before 2000 were not long enough. They were not going through the package. So we wanted to show you that. Okay. Next question.
A while back, Joe Campbell wrote, the Ryan Lake Porphyry intrusion has now developed into a significant exploration target with potential for world-class. Is the Ryan Lake Porphyry intrusion a priority target?
We have looked at the Ryan Lake project, and when you start looking at the Ryan Lake project, you realize that on the edge of the intrusive, there's quartz veining. Are those quartz veining only in the periphery of the granite? Usually what's happening, and I'm not there to argue with what Joe said. I have as much experience as, the funniest thing is Joe and I are born in the same year, in the same month, December of 1957. Joe has some experience. I have quite a vast experience in many different type of gold deposit after spending 12 years at Barrick. I would not say that until I would have more information to be able to confirm that, but I'm not de-affirming it. I'm not saying that Ryan Lake is not a good target. It's high grade. It can be a target, but you're chasing vein. In every gold camp in the world, there is a big deposit. There's a plumbing system, and the plumbing system can generate gold outside of the main system into smaller system. I have not seen Ryan Lake as a big system yet. I can tell you that in Yellowknife, the 14 million ounces was generated from the Campbell Shear. And the Samoto and the Crestorum deposit has been more of a, how can I say, more of the satellite deposit. They are not 5 million or 10 million ounces target. Will Ryan Lake be a target in the future? Sure. Is it a high priority on my list? No. We need to do more work, and it doesn't mean it cannot be. But I think, in all fully respect to Joe and the comment you made or the question, Ryan Lake has potential, but I would not say that it has a potential for a large porphyry. A large porphyry will have a lot of alteration. Will have it's a buried intrusion. It's like a porphyry copper, so it can have a huge system, and you will need to see a lot of alteration. And so, and it's right on the edge. So maybe the edge of the granite is mineralized because of a factor of what we call skarn factor. But I don't think it has. So sorry for taking that much time to answer a simple question, but I tried to give you more information.
No, that's great. And so can you maybe give us an idea of what your priority targets would be other than the Campbell Shear?
So the Campbell Shear south of the mine is a primary target over the next 2 years, where we intend to drill approximately 10 to 20,000 meters of drilling over about 12 kilometers. Last winter, we initiated an IP survey that was finished in September, October on the North Bell portion for the Campbell Shear. We were able to outline a lot of IP anomaly, conductivity, sulfide mineralization that needs to have some follow-up next winter. If we have had the possibility of doing a financing before Christmas, we would have probably gone to the North Belt and test some target. I know Joe would like to go back to Ryan Lake and drill a few holes. And I said we will eventually, but I think at this time we have a commitment on the Newmont claim, and we needed to make it the most important priority and the better chance to find 2 or 3 million ounces. We're recompiling Crestorum. Crestorum was shut down at depth, but it's open to the north, it's open to the south. It has a relation with Ryan Lake, which is immediately west of Crestorum. Samoto is still open. Miss Pickle is a high-grade target that needs attention. We're not lacking target. We're not lacking target. But we need, with the current budget we have, to focus on the most important one. Some people asked me this morning on a meeting, how do you calculate the risk of finding something? I said, well, if I want to find a Campbell Shear mineralization on the North Bell, I will call my chance maybe 1 out of 20, 1 out of 100. But to find another gold deposit, I call my chance south of the con mine 1 chance out of 2. It's there or it's not. It's the best place to drill on the property now. We have other targets, yes, but there will be more like satellite, will be more effort, more money to define them. We will look at them, but I think we need, with the current gold market, the current financing we are in, just to focus on the best chance of delivering 2 million ounces.
So if the program's unsuccessful at the Campbell Shear, where will you drill next, I guess is the question.
I don't have to answer that question now, because I think we will be successful on the Campbell Shear. I think that if I had a budget like I had before at Detour Gold, when I started with $35 million in the bank, I would be able to say, just be patient for a couple of years. Let me finish my drilling, and then you'll see the result 2 years from now. There's no question in my mind that if I had the budget for 10 to 20,000 meters in the bank now, I would be delighted to add more drill be more aggressive, and deliver more ounces faster than we are now. So I think the best chance is still south of the Con Mine along the Campbell Shear.
Okay, and you're fully financed for that program you spoke about?
We are currently fully financed for 10,000 meters of drilling, and I would like to spend a lot more. The south is completely open, over 10 kilometers. If you remember, June 2nd, 2020, we press release a nice hole, 8 grams over 8 meters, drilled in 1961, that needs follow-up. The hole intersected the Campbell Shear at 100 meters vertical below surface. So it's very close to surface. Never been drilled or follow up over the last 60 years. That's what I call an amazing target to be follow up. And we should be able to do so either this summer or in the fall or next winter.
Okay. And then just switching gears a little bit to talk about the deal that you did with Newmont. Can you explain why Newmont is willing to do the deal? Is it Gold Terra management's track record, or simply that they have other projects to focus on?
Well, if everybody knew about how Newmont came into the picture, it's got multiple answers to this question. The first one is that Newmont never worked on the project. They bought Miramar in 2008 to put their hands on the Haute Bébel project, which became the TMAC mine. So let's look at the 9 months I spent with Newmont. Newmont shut down the mine, paid for all the reclamation, post-Miramar acquisition, and never spent any money doing the compilation we did, for example. But they know Gérard Paneton from his Barrick days, from doing Detour Gold. They know that if I go somewhere, I'm going to find gold because I know where it is. And they said, we're going to keep it back and right. And so we structure a deal to which that they're using our management skill to earn 60%. And if we find 3 million ounces, we form a GV and we run with it. And if we find 5 million ounces on the Newmont claim alone, only on the Newmont claim alone, then they would like to have it back and right, which will cost them maybe $50 million to pay back Gold Terra for all the work done from day one, plus a bonus on the ounces found. So we did a deal that is good for everybody. I don't find 5 million ounces because they need 5 million ounces. They will not go below 5 million ounces deposit in their strategy to grow the company and replace ounces they produce. Look, I spent 12 years at Barrick. We used to produce 9 million ounces a year. And I can tell you it's impossible by exploration to find 10 million ounces a year, unless you're very, very lucky. So Newmont has the same philosophy. It cannot just go everywhere. And in my mind, what they do here is that they trust us. They like the management. We had a great negotiation through 2020 to come up with this. And just as a parallel, Joe Campbell tried for 2 years to try to get a deal with Newmont. He couldn't. And I did it in 9 months. So it's done. Let's support the company and let's the company drill the best target in Yellowknife.
Mm-hmm. And if the current drilling proves something substantial, given that the Con Mine is in remediation stage, is it still an active mine site? And could a new processing development occur on that site should the need unfold?
It's a very good question. And it's also a question that I always know the answer. And it's very simple. The relation we have at Newmont, whatever we find 3, 5, or 7 million ounces, the original site of Newmont is key to redevelop a new mine because you don't have to redo the full environmental impact assessment for a new setup. We already have the setup where it can be used again for, say, process facility and tailing embankment. So I think, yes, it's a great value. I can tell you that Detour Lake went into production in 6 years because I acquired the surface right from Gold Corp Canada. after doing the deal with Pelangio. So I know exactly the value of the con mine, even if it's fully reclaimed, it's still surface right in the name of Newmont Miramar.
Okay. If and when the ore reserves are isolated, will the mine and its extraction be commenced by way of underground or open pit mining? Sorry, the wording's a little off, but I guess they're just asking, do you think this is going to be an open pit or underground?
Well, what we're looking at, the Campbell Shear, is quite subvertical mineralization, and it's quite high grade. And I think if we were trying to do a pit, say we extend mineralization all the way down to 1,000 meters. Well, I don't know of too many pit that goes down to 1,000 meters. Detour was deep, was very deep. It was 625 meters vertical, and so it's quite a depth. And what kills you is the strip ratio. So if you only have one zone, you're better off going underground. No question in my mind. And that's exactly what we want to do. We will consider more an underground operation, high-grade operation, which require less investment. My lesson learned from Detour is a lot of volume costs a lot of money to put in production. Bigger mill, bigger truck, bigger equipment, more people. And I think you're better off focusing on high-grade, smaller equipment, and go underground.
Okay. And what is your cost per meter of drilling currently?
Very nice question. Thank you for asking. Before David and I start looking into the drilling of this company, when David was there, he was telling me in summer 2019, it would come almost saying and said, $285 a meter is our program in summer 2019. I hope you're going to be able to help me when you join. Well, last winter at Samoto, it cost us $225 a meters because we said no helicopter. At the same time, I went to site in February last year, approximately a year ago, to evaluate the consultant GeoVector and how they work. And then I realized that, okay, we can do some improvement here. And we started putting our own staff. We shut down the use of helicopter, and we basically brought our drilling costs last summer at $200 a meter. So we're doing the best we can to control the costs per meter, and we've done so. Imagine, we went from 285 to 200. So on 10,000 meters, it's $850,000 of saving. Or you can do 4,000 meters more with the same amount of money, with the same budget. So we are very happy with what we're doing. We have our own staff in Yellowknife. We don't use consultant anymore, and we control the purse a lot more tighter.
Okay, then switching gears back to Crestorum. I know you mentioned the resource update, but I had a very targeted question, which is, with all the drilling that you did on Crestorum and other targets last year, at what point are you going to add these to the resource and put out a new resource? Maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Yes, this is a question actually that I kind of like, I alluded to it during the presentation in the introduction. We are planning currently, it's work in progress. All the drill result came at the end, sometime in mid-January when we did the last press release. And of course, both Samoto winter drilling of 2020, as well as the Crestorum last summer, will be part of an update resource that we scheduled to be available before the end of Q1 2021. So before the end of March, you will have an update on the resource on both Crestorum and Samoto. Samoto is still open at depth and to the north, and Crestorum is still open to the south and to the north, near surface in the first 200 meters, and that will be our focus when we go back to drill those two deposits in the future.
Okay, and 60 North, which is another mining company in the region that you're in, is planning to go into production ASAP. Would you do the same thing with Crestorum to generate some cash?
I don't think I would, and it's because economically, you would have to size Crestron for what it is to go in production, and then you would need to save money to put the mill close to Crestron. If we had an existing mill, I could say yes, we could put Crestron quickly in production, get the environmental permit. Crestron would likely be ending up as an open pit near surface, maybe 300,000 ounces, 50,000 ounces per year for 6 years. I think it fits more the category of a satellite deposit once you've built your mill for a 2 million ounces deposit at the Campbell Shear. I think, I'm not saying this is not a good idea. Maybe if the Campbell Shear doesn't pan, maybe we'll have another solution and we'll have maybe Crestron and Samoto in a different mill. But to spend a lot of money and energy on a smaller deposit will not generate what I want. Look, we have a market cap roughly of $30, $35 an ounce. We've got 750,000 ounces that will increase in the update resources, likely increase with the drilling we did last year. Imagine if we find 2 million ounces along the Campbell Shear. That Campbell Shear, 2 million ounces, will take our company from $40 an ounce to probably $100 an ounce, and maybe to, I don't know, $200 million market cap instead of what we are today.
For reference, the last time I think I looked at like big junior mining gold comps table, you're right. I think the peer group average was like around $40 an ounce, but obviously being in a safe, it's higher. Dave's saying it's higher. Obviously, being in a safe jurisdiction, you should be on the upper end of that, especially with the size potential. I think that's it on Cristorum right now. Do you have any exploration planned out by Cameron Falls area?
By which fall?
Cameron Falls?
I cannot answer that question. No, we don't have any plan in the near future to drill near Cameron Falls. I don't even know if we do have a property around Cameron Falls.
Okay. And then I think that's all the geological questions I have, or to do with drilling. So there's a question about if you had, I think what they mean is if you had additional funding right now, would you add more drills to fast track the drilling process?
Yes.
Okay. And then
any other easy question like this?
Yeah, we could go rapid fire. The rest of them deal mostly with the market action that's happened over the last little while. So do you know, maybe Dave?
I don't mind. I see a few questions in the box there. I don't mind addressing some of those questions, Deb. So go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So do you have any idea who's selling the stock earlier this week or why the share price has fallen so much in the last few days?
Look, I think for a lot of people who know us, they would acknowledge that this is a team that has pretty strong, very strong capacity to sort of handle the market side of things. And so we're very in tune with the market. We have, the ability to get market intelligence from institutional desks all the way down through, we're very close with all of our investors. Gerald and I take calls every day, either together or separately. And, we have a very solid rapport with buyers and sellers. Look, it's buying and selling both make a market. And we know that sometimes people are going to sell stock. What we saw on Monday was unique to us. It's rare that we don't actually get a phone call from a seller of a lot of stock. Most of our shareholders know that we have a better than average or great ability to place stock, and that our capital market savvy is such that if you want to sell stock, the best thing to do is call us because we'll help you place it. And I think we proved again that despite the fact we had no color and the selling was done in a not I'm going to choose my words carefully, in a not a very organized manner, there was still 7 million shares bought. That's remarkable. It shows that people are looking through to the future. People see that we're funded. People see that we have catalysts that are going to, we're going to have drill results that are going to roll for the next half year in what looks like, a very strong commodity price. So, I think you're going to have situations where you don't get the intelligence. You don't, can I put my hand on my heart and say, I know who sold the stock and every share is sold? No. Because we don't lie to our shareholders.
Well, the funniest thing that I may add to this is that, when someone wants to buy shares, they always call you. But when they want to sell, they never tell you. And we respect that. It's your decision. You buy the share, and the next action is to sell it or keep it. So, and if someone decides to sell like it did on Monday, what's very important is the reaction. It got placed. 6.5 million share got placed on Monday. And not only that, we know that our existing shareholders, whatever they own, 2, 3, or 5 million ounces or 6 million share, I own 5.2 now. And I'm not a seller, but those institutions have a long-term view. And unfortunately, when a company is somewhat 7 years old on the project, I understand that any of the people that have been involved for 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, they might be tired. The shareholder, the project fatigue, the investment fatigue is a factor of life. But it's a reset. David and I are a reset to the company. Even the board is completely changed. The strategy is improved immensely. We kept Joe with us because his continuity, his knowledge, and we've made tremendous strides since November 2019, and it's only 14 months. It took us 9 months to get the Newmont deal. There's no question in my mind that we are now drilling in the best chances of a 5 million ounces deposit.
So going back to, sorry.
And if it is a chance to find it, we will find it. No question.
I was just going to go back to something you said earlier about owning 5.5 million shares, I believe. I believe you bought most of that on the market.
Yeah. As a chairman, so I don't have any stock option. So I don't take advantage of a system to attract talent. I don't need that. Not after 40 years in this business.
But you and Dave both have bought stock over the last year in the open market. I think that's something that's really good to see.
When I joined, they asked me to buy 1 million shares at 36 cents, and I did so because the company was in financial, not distress, but in financial situation, and the share was not even 36 cents. They were 29 cents when the deal closed, and I respected my word to buy at 36 cents. And I've been buying on both financing at 25 and 30 cents. And this week on Monday, I bought some again. Everybody has a capacity to buy, and I buy whatever I can, when I can, because sometimes we're blacked out. But in reality, what's very important is that as investors, as shareholders, you have a decision to make. You will invest money into people, onto a good project. Sometimes the good people have a bad project, and a bad project has bad people. A good project has bad people. On Gold Terra, you have a very good project and a very good management team. And we're there to deliver ounces for you. But we need patience. I am patient. Even at 63 years old, it's fine. It's the greatest place to work. I mean, yes, there are very good places in Canada, but name me one gold camp that is controlled 95% by one company.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear that you bought this week. So did I. I've owned stock for a while, but I added to my position when Dave called me earlier this week. I think that there was a significant buying opportunity. So I did have a question asking who your shareholders are. I know you're not going to disclose that. Maybe you could disclose the ones that are listed on Bloomberg, or maybe characterize who your shareholder base is right now.
Yeah, Gerald, can I take that one?
Yeah.
We have made it a focus, especially with the market backdrop, to bring in a mix of new investors. Obviously, there have been supporters of this company who have been flying the flags through the wars for a long time, and it was our job and it was our mission to bring in new shareholders. And of that, obviously, institutional shareholders have been a big focus. And I can tell you that since I joined the company, when there was a handful, one or two, maybe three institutions, we've increased that 3 or 4-fold. We have over 10 institutions in the name. And if people go to our presentation, we've listed them in our slide deck. And so you can go to our presentation and take a look at who those institutional investors are. We don't prefer any shareholder over any other shareholder.
Except for me, right?
Well, yeah, because you're able to throw a webinar up for us on last minute. So so we do give a little bit of preference to you, Jeff. But look, institutions are they're a big part of the story because they're long term. Once they join, they don't go in and out. They're there to support you through to completion of your stated goals. And the beauty of this is that the institutions that we've added on the notion that we're going to be drilling the Campbell Shear on the Newmont ground. And if it's any indication that they're here for the long term, then we just started. We just started on January 20th. That was why we were so surprised to see the kind of selling we saw on Monday. And that's why we felt that was a great opportunity, and why we wanted to come here and be in front of our shareholders to answer questions and to reassure them that this is just the beginning.
We just had a couple of new questions coming up, and if you want, I can answer them, Deb.
Sure, yeah. You want to do my job? You can ask yourself the questions too. You can start asking Dave too.
Well, I just open up the window so I can see the question when they arrive, and then I want to give a break to David. We have more institution than we had before, and it's a greater support. And of course, some of those institutions only come during financing. They don't necessarily buy on the market. That's a negative sometimes, but sometimes they go in the market and buy. We know one of them in the fall was a buyer, and it's interesting because they were trying to buy the stock around 40 cents, and they were buying, but it didn't happen. I'd like to answer the question. There is a question about deeper hole. So why are you not just going in deeper hole at 2,000 meters elevation? That question is interesting because if you look at the long section in the presentation or in the press release, yes, you can drill deeper hole, but you can only drill 3 or 4 holes. And since there are already mineralization near surface, we're trying to extend mineralization from surface and go deeper every time, learning from what we do. One of the components in the Yellowknife camp is that there's a lot of faulting that displays the deposit. So we need to be careful where to drill exactly those deep holes. And we need to learn step by step where the motor load can be. And you have to realize there are 2 nice hits at 1,000 meters, hole Y88, which is 14 grams over 5 meters. And then further on the Newmont claim boundary with Gold Terra, 100%. There's a hole Y76 in the press release this morning that basically shows, KC96, which is 4 grams over 7.6 meters. So when you look at the potential to go deeper, yes, I got asked the question by an institution as well. Why don't you go for a Haile Mary right away? Well, I'm not Aaron Rodgers. I'm a geologist that wants to make sure that my Haile Mary will be 100% successful. So I'm going to learn from the surface to 1,000 meters, and then maybe we'll go at greater depth. But I think the potential of the Campbell Shear, look, our first 2 holes, we got the Campbell Shear. We're in there. So there's no question that you could even say that maybe the 2 deposit, Yellow X and Camp Point North, are the up dip of a bigger deposit. And maybe we're going to find it at 700 meters elevation. So why would you go at 2,000 right away and not knowing what's between surface and 2,000? And that's the reason why we are going step by step. There's also a question. Any thought on the overall direction of the price of gold is quite interesting. But look, I've been in gold for 40 years. I believe in gold. I don't believe in paper. I just think that whenever you want to talk about gold and try to predict gold, you're always going to be wrong. Pierre Lassonde said for many, many, many years, since I've known the gentleman, that gold will hit $1,000. He started that in 1980. But it took a bit longer, 2007 or 2008, when gold hit $1,000. So we can predict the gold is going to go higher, but we can never predict exactly when. Yes, gold will go higher because I think gold deserves to go higher. But at the same time, there are too many external factors that try to rectify this. And we'll see. We'll find out with time. I believe in a stronger gold price. And I don't think the market for gold is weak now, but I think it's going to bounce back eventually.
Okay.
In my mind, the biggest factor against gold was the Democrat coming into power and the leeway he's going to have over the first year or two to fix the problem that we're facing in the US. And then maybe gold is going to bounce back very hard.
Well, I think that wraps it up for the questions. If there's any last ones. Oh, there's one.
Sir, it's not about raising the money. I thought that the news that we did the deal with Newmont will have give a pop on the stock. It didn't even move it. And in my mind, I did the best GV deal that I could do with Newmont. And I think I did a great deal for the shareholder of Gold Terra in respect with Newmont. But the page has not been turned. I think there might be a chance of me going back again onto this Newmont situation and strategy. If we find a couple of million ounces, maybe we're just going to go and, talk with them again about something else. It's just a question of time.
And just so anyone that's listening in knows, the question was, if you had known you're going to be able to raise 30 million, would you have negotiated a better JV with Newmont? And then
we did the best deal we could.
And then can you speak to local involvement, current and going forward?
One of the most beautiful quality that Joe Campbell brought to the company in Yellowknife was his involvement with the community in Yellowknife. We have a presence. We're a community supporter. We are in contact with them. It's only a 25,000 people town. And the relationship that we have there is excellent and always maintained to the highest standard of community stakeholders.
And that's it. That's all I see for questions. So maybe you can kind of summarize what you wanted to express to your shareholders and potential shareholders today.
Well, I came to this company, Gold Terra, and to Yellowknife because of the tremendous potential that was untouched along the Campbell Shear. It took us a while to get there, and I'm very, very happy to be able to reach what we've been able to reach. There's a question I will answer immediately after. It's always an interesting, are you a seller or a buyer? Look, if we find 5 or 10 million ounces, maybe Newmont's going to buy us. I don't decide for shareholders. I decide as a shareholders with you what's best for the company. it's time to sell, we sell. If it's time to build, we build. We're there to create value. One thing I can say is that with Louis Dion on the board and myself, we have together built approximately 8 mines. He built 5, I built 3 myself. And I can tell you that we are equipped to build if necessary. This is not a question of can we do it? We've done it. So in my mind, this is the reason why you invest in Gold Terra. You have some of the best management in Canada in one of the best gold camp. We're in town, supported by local infrastructures and people, and we look forward to make a success of the Campbell Shale drilling. Thank you very much for your support, past, present, and future.
Thank you, Gerald. I think that was a really nice summary. I don't see any other questions, so I think we can end it there. Dave, did you want to say anything?
No, just again, thanks to you, Deborah, for hosting us today on short notice. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for those of you who suggested this to just clarify the messaging and give us the opportunity to outline why we thought that the sell-off on Monday and Tuesday was a great opportunity. We look forward to hearing from everybody. So anytime we're here to talk, send us an email, reach out, give us a phone call. That's our job, and we look forward to delivering you guys some great assays coming up.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. And just for anyone who's wondering, we will do another webinar, I'm sure, once you start getting results in. So I'm excited to see those. And yeah, thanks for your transparency, and yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Find some gold.
Thanks,
Thanks everyone for participating. Have a good afternoon.